Hey there, FlossTube. This is Kathy with Hands On Design coming at you on a Friday afternoon. It's been a very busy week, so I'll have to admit I've been kind of very unmotivated today. So I thought I would end it with some fun and talk to you guys about, okay, I'm gonna call this video Finish-a-Palooza. I have so many, you know, I've got new releases, I've got some things that I sent off for finishing. I have so much to talk to you about. So I'm gonna kind of get going. I will put notes in the bottom with everything and hopefully ask if you have questions. But before I get on with that, you know, definitely number one, thanks for all the new likes, thanks for all the follows, thanks for all the comments. I had a ton of comments on the pumpkin spice little, I guess, contest, if you will, from last time. I had no idea. I mean, I knew there were a lot of pumpkin spice things out there, but I learned some new ones. I tried a few new ones, and some were very good, and some were gratuitously pumpkin spice. So anyway, but thank you. Sheila Anderson was the winner. I contacted her and I shipped right away off that extra thread pack and the chart to her. So hopefully she's stitching away on her pumpkin spice right now. But this week we had a couple of new releases from Hands On Design, and I wanted to share those with you quickly. I gave you a peek first of the Sunshine on a Stem. I was gonna call it a sneak peek, but it's not really a sneak okay, that would be a sneak. That was just a quick peek. So this is Sunshine on a Stem, and as I said before, this actually came out, very limited release in the So Much to Love's Bag of the Month Club. So the chart is now available. I took it to the post office yesterday morning, went off to the first shops ordering it. It'll head out to distributors and other shops next week. But again, just a sweet little stitch. It's a Picture This Plus linen and Gentle Art Sampler threads, and then your, it's hard to see that, the little leaves are made of wool felt, and they're not on the pattern. There's no leaf to stitch. You actually, if you want leaves, you got to embellish it with the wool felt, and it's super easy. No, I did not include a leaf in the pattern. You get to freehand these, and before you go, oh, I'm gonna show you. Okay, so this is the pattern that you get. All right, cool photo. And then you're gonna get this piece, and it's actually doubled over. You're gonna get this piece of wool felt, and what I've done, it's actually about 12 inches long, okay, and 1 inch wide. And if you you can refer to my picture or the cover photo to see where you might like to put your leaves. And I think I put 7 leaves on, and so I gave you 12 inches here, and you pretty much can practice. You've got more than enough. If you're really good and really confident, you can probably stitch 2. It's a very quick stitch, and keep one and give one to a good friend. And so I just wanted to do a little demo because, like I said, that's about 1 inch. I cut the strips purposely 1 inch wide because on the finished product, upside down. On the finished product, I made a suggestion that your leaves be at least kind of between, I think I said like around 5/8 to 3/4 long. So by the time that you trim this, you'll get that about that length. And if you're really, really good, like I said, you can get quite a few leaves out of there, or if you're just kind of practicing, that's okay too. I gave you plenty to just kind of start and try. So I'm gonna do a little demo. This is so easy, guys. Don't let this kind of thing scare you off from stitching a pattern. Now, if you've not worked with wool felt before, this is actually, it's not 100% wool. It's a wool rayon mix, about 70 wool, 30 rayon, and it's a compressed type of fabric, so it's not woven. So when you cut it, it won't unravel. Okay, so I've got my, get your, you know, either your sewing scissors or your, these are dressmaker shears, or your needlework scissors are fine. So to make your leaves for the embellishment, you're gonna go, just kind of make a curved line, snip, just like that. Can you see? I've got a got a curved line there. Now, and if you're left-handed, just do everything I do, but backwards, sorry. I am very, very right-handed, so, and then I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna turn it the other way, and I'm gonna go point to point, snip. And the sound effects are optional. They are not required. Although, I do have a very good friend, when she does her French knot, she goes, and she does beautiful French knots, so I don't know if it's that she's really good or it's the, so I do a little snip when I cut. So then you end up with just a little leaf like that, and that's all you need. And then you're just gonna come in, once you're done with the stitching, which really isn't gonna take you very long, and you're just gonna place it on there. And then with a sharp needle, we need a sharp for this, your tapestry. You'll curse me 10 ways to Sunday if you're gonna try and go through the wool felt with your tapestry with the blunt tip. So you're gonna need something with a slightly sharper tip, like a chenille needle or a quilter or something like that. And then I suggested just doing an over-under, anchored on the back with a little teeny knot. It'll be fine. You can do, if you do 2-ply, you can do either a way waist or anchor it somewhere else, or the loop method. And they're just gonna do right down the middle, the vein of the leaf, the center vein, just do a little over-under running stitch. And that's all you need. So, I mean, they're not huge, so they're not flopping around on there, but it just gives a nice little dimension. And then I finish it with a little rickrack, that's a little cotton, and then of course my gingham bows. I love my gingham bows. Anyway, so that is Sunshine on a Stem, and again, shipped off to shops this week, so those should be starting to arrive. I had another little pattern in with my, I guess we'll call it the October collection, and that was Stitching is My Heart's Desire. What's your heart's desire? This was actually originally designed for, when I went to the Heart's Desire shop in Wichita, Kansas, a couple years ago. I taught at their spring retreat in April, and I think it was 2 years ago. I'm trying to remember, 2 or 3, I don't know, the years are starting to run together. But when I go teach at a shop and they're having a retreat, I like to find out kind of, is there a theme? Is there, because I usually bring a trunk show, and then I like to supply, come up with an extra little kit for the shop, and of course if I'm able to, and they don't really have a theme, I like to incorporate somehow the shop name, and sometimes it works a little better than others, and my gosh, you couldn't get much more perfect than Stitching is My Heart's Desire, because that's the shop name. Now I will say it was kind of funny, when I went to go do this, it was about a 5-6 hour drive from where I live, and so not difficult to get there. And when I go to a retreat, especially when it's being held somewhere else, I like to go visit the shop and check it out, and I've seen pictures of her shop and it just looks adorable, so I was so excited. Well, only to find out and get to the retreat place and find out the retreat was 2 hours from her shop. So I couldn't go I just didn't have time to go to the shop. And actually, what worked out is that I ended up being closer to Picture This Plus, to their shop and where they dye the linen and everything. So I actually took some time when I wasn't teaching, and I went into Picture This Plus and met up with Marilyn and the gals, and I got the little tour of all the, where they dye everything. I saw these really big rolls of all the undyed, unbleached, unsized linen, and I was trying to figure out, could I hoist one of those up on my shoulder and run really fast? No, they're very, very heavy. So anyway, I'm pretty sure they'd catch me. But anyway, so this is probably the #1, because of course it's kind of, basically it's a limited chart. And this is one, I would say probably the #1. This would be the #2 request. This would be the #1 request that I've had people, because they see it stitched out there like on Facebook or Instagram. Will you release that? Will you release that? So yes, I will release that. But now I gave Debbie, the shop owner, the original as a gift for saying, thank you for letting me come teach at your retreat. And so I had to restitch it. So while I was restitching it, I thought, I'm going to give it a little makeover. Sometimes, you visit these things a few years later and you go, yeah, I could do that a little bit better. So I stitched it in the colors I originally used, and I just did a few little extra touches, and then also came up with a matching fob. I didn't have the fob first time around, so something different. And So I stitched it in the colors it was originally charted, and I went to go find some fun fabric because I really had the idea for this finish. This is not how I finished it originally, and it's I'm calling it a pillow keep because it's a pillow, but you can keep your, oh gosh, I don't have scissors. Well, okay, yeah, I do have scissors here, but you can, you know, keep your scissors in it. There's a little tag that you can run a fob through, and that's why I did the fob. And so handy to have my scissors right there. So I was out looking for some new fabric, and I was up at my, I guess my local shop, Shanty Stitchers is in Beresford, South Dakota, and oh my gosh, she had this, it's a Moda fabric. And as far as I know, it is still available, because I know sometimes, you know, I use these great fabrics and then you can't get them anymore. And then also in the line was this little polka dot. And the polka dot, I don't know if you can see, becomes the lining for the, you know, for the pocket. I give complete finishing instructions with pictures in the chart. So you're getting, you know, a nice little value in that chart. Well, I found this fabric and I was like, oh, I love that fabric. But it didn't go with the pink, the little cone flowers and the hearts, and I was like, okay, so what do? Do I not get this fabric that I love and go searching around at quilt shops everywhere, far and wide, high and low, over hill, over dale, and find the right fabric to match the color? Or do I buy the perfect fabric and just simply restitch, you know, rip out the flowers and restitch in colors that coordinate? And that is also what's really neat about this project, is it's 4 shades of DMC. So if you have some fabric in your stash, because I know a lot of you are quilters or finishers, or you go to one of those shops and there's that fabric that just goes, buy me, you know, calls your name, and you got to take it home and you're, I don't know what to do with it now. Well, you know, find a sweet little coordinating print, and that might have called your name too, and make this project. It might not use the DMC colors I used, but you just need 4 shades. Pick out, grab your fabric, go to the DMC rack, or your hand dyed or whatever, and pick out, you know, the dark for the border and the words, and then a green to coordinate for all the vines, and then 2 shades, a light and a dark. It could be peach. This is definitely peachier than the pink that I had originally done. It could be peach, it could be pink, it could be coral, it could be blue, it could be lavender, it could be whatever. You know, if you want that fabric, to use the fabric that you have in your stash. I did give the order numbers of the fabric. This is a Moda fabric, the cotton we're talking about here. It's a Moda fabric, and I did give the names and the numbers if you want to use what I did. And I did buy several yards, kind of not knowing, you know, what all was going to happen. Here's the chart itself. That's what that looks like. And then I did cut up the rest of the yards that I bought, and I made these little finishing kits. So they're limited in number, these are only available on my website. If you go to the Hands Online shop there, the $5, it gets you 4 cuts of linen, 3 for the, you know, 2 for the pillow, 1 for the lining, 1 for the back of I did the polka dot on the back of the fob, and then 2 little pieces of ribbon. And so I just cut up the rest of the yardage because I know some people either don't have access to a quilt shop or fabrics. That is actually now listed on the website. The chart you need to order from an online shop or a local shop or wherever you get your things from. But as I said, I just had a limited number. I think I had about 40 of them if you want the fabrics. And I cut them approximately to size. You'll have to size down according to the finishing instructions that are included in the chart. And I just stitched on a 28 count flax, any kind of neutral. So very versatile project. So if you don't, like I said, don't do the fabric I did, the saying itself and the design is just, it's universal. So stitching is my heart's desire. Yes, it is. I have other heart's desire. I love, you know, love a lot of other things. But stitching is my heart. So anyway, and I just, like I said, a fun little fob I just flat finished that, sandwiched it together with I did a little different treatment on it. I just put the ribbon coming out, and then I put the twisted cord that way. Just something different, you know, it's your typical fob. So anyway, so that is Stitching is My Heart's Desire, and that also shipped 2 shops this week. So the third chart that I kind of put out there was not a new chart, but it was a redo, shall we say. In 2014, I participated in the Just Cross Stitch Ornament preview issue, and also the Ornament issue. So it was this one, that was the preview issue, and this also happens to be the issue that I was the featured designer in, so that was kind of a little fun trip down memory lane. And then also so I did, basically what I did was a set of 3 houses, one being in the preview issue, one being in the regular issue, and then one you purchase, and the 3 go together, so they make like a little neighborhood. So this was, oops, still has the magazine tag on it. So this is Garland House. Garland House was in the preview issue. I should just go like that. Sorry, goofy. Anyway, I need more hands. Garland House, and then Snowflake House, again, still have the little tag on it. Garland House, or Snowflake House, because you can see it's got snowflakes, was in the Ornament issue. And then what I released that fall about the same time was Wreath House, because of the wreath. Okay, so then you had to have all 3 publications to complete. I offered in the chart with Wreath House this border, I called it the Home for the Holidays border, and you could stitch it like a little triptych like that. You know, it's just a, you know, to store it, you just kind of go, like that. Flat finishes, and then you just combine, you know, before you sew the front to the back, you just put a, I did coordinating fabric in between, and then cording all around. But, so you can see it says Home for the Holidays, and then the little snowflakes across the top. And that does come in the chart. But now, because, well, I mean, it was 3 years ago, and the magazines are getting hard to find, and typically with something like this, I had a couple shops say to me, I have customers that want this, what are you gonna do? So I did kind of a, okay, well, it's kind of funny, because I said to my husband, would that be weird if I kind of re-released the chart, but with, you know, all 3 charts available? And he said, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, musicians when they release an album, and then you'll see it a month later and it's got bonus tracks in it. So I'm kind of like, okay, so this is Wreath House with bonus tracks. Anyway, but the border is, so everything is in there now. All right. So while it's not a new chart, it's been updated. So if you're into houses, I really kind of think the houses still, this is hard to hold here. I still think the houses, you know, they're just, I love the colors. They're what I call country Christmas, kind of the barn reds, the teal, the avocado green. This was all with sampler threads. Of course, I always give DMC substitutes. And then the linen was 32 count Beach Walk linen from Witchell. It's one of the Nora Corbett linens, and Nora Corbett, yeah. But anyway, it's listed all on the chart. So if you're interested in this, if you missed it first time around, it was funny when I brought this out. My mom kind of commented when I brought these out. She said, she goes, oh, you finally did a design with some little houses in it, you know. And I was like, well, okay, yeah, sure, you know. She goes, well, when you were a little girl, you used to draw little houses all the time. And I said, well, I have a friend who's also a cross-stitch designer, and she does a lot of little houses, wink, wink. And, you know, I just kind of thought, yeah, I just sort of stayed away from little houses. But then these hit my inspiration bank, and I thought, well, this is me. So I love the colors, and doing the triptych like this, you know, ornaments are always great, but this is a nice little size, sit on a mantle, sit in a shelf, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, so Wreath House, not new, but it's HD 26, not new, but it is a re-release, you know, chart with bonus tracks. Anyway, everything's gonna be bonus tracks now. So that's it for the new releases by Hands On Design. I have had a few nights where I'm kind of, you know, in between model stitching and I'm working on things, and I just didn't quite have something to stitch, but you know, like a model to be stitching. So I ran across this gal on Instagram, and again, a lot of you do follow me on Instagram. It's hands.on.design on Instagram, and so I ran across this gal who, I guess in the genre of cross stitch designers, she's what I would call, you know, modern, and her company is Diana Watters Handmade, and I fell in love with this little cat in a pumpkin. Okay, I know most of you, just because I said the words cat in a pumpkin, just went, hmm? So this is adorable. Okay, I'll put me behind it. Is that just not... Is that not that? And you can see it's just not very big. This is 32 count slate. She did her model on here. I went to her Etsy shop. I'll put the information there. Downloaded the pattern. She did it on a black Ada, and it's cute on that too. And she did DMC, and I did not do her called for colors, mostly because I was using a slightly different. I mean, it's pretty close. You just need 4 values of here. 4 values of orange, dark to light, and then 2 greens. And because I really wanted to stitch it then, of course I always have a lot of slate hanging around my house, and then because I wanted to stitch it that night, I had to have something to stitch. I just dug through my DMC and found, you know, like I said, the shades. So they're not necessary, but pretty darn close, don't you think? It gives the same effect. So I just think it's just sweet as all get out. I don't know how I finish it. Obviously she shows it in a little hoop. And Stephanie from Just Keep Stitchin, I did not know you were that into cats. You need this pattern. So anyway, just a little bit of enabling going on, but just so sweet. Like I said, I will put information in there. So that I actually have a start, a WIP, and a finish all in one. Took me about 2 nights, and honestly, I probably could have done it in one night, but I was busy looking. I didn't start till late, and then I was busy looking for the floss the first night. So really, I think you'd be fine. Anyway, so now I want to move on to how are we doing on time? Oh, well, this one's going to go a little long, guys, but totally worth it. Okay, so most of you know I used to have a shop, and I used to be a full-time finisher, and I kept kind of doing finishing all along, but then when the designing really started to take over, I had to just kind of say, okay, something's got to give. I was teaching, I was traveling too much. Just, you know, at some point something's got to go. And I contacted several finishers and said, you know, can I refer my customers on to you? And I know I recommended, well, 3 finishers. I know a 4th, but she's so busy. If I recommended anybody, she would tan my hide. But anyway, so I talked with all 3 of them, and hold on one second, I got to put this down. Okay, I'm back, sorry. So the 3 finishers, I've never actually met any of them face to face. I've messaged with them. I feel like I know them. I mean, that's kind of the fun thing about the stitching community as it relates to FlossTuber and to you know, just the social media and everything. I've messaged back and forth with all 3 of these ladies extensively. I feel like I know them. I feel like they're good friends. Someday, you know, it's kind of in that bucket list of things like someday I want to meet face to face. So I have that pile of, I heard somebody say in one of their videos, the pile of shame. You know, all the finished things that you have, but you never finish them. And before you go, yeah, but you're a finisher, can't you do them? Well, I am like the cobbler's kid, let me tell you. My finishing is the last to be done. And when I was kind of battling, like, do I keep finishing? I really love finishing. And what do I do? There are not enough hours in the day currently. So I happened to be scrolling through Pinterest, you know, the old, scrolling, and I went, oh my gosh, look at that finish. I love that design. That's really cool. And it was embarrassing because I went, it's my design. I didn't even recognize it. The stitcher had used different colors and then finished it completely differently. So I had to find out who this was. And then I found her on Facebook, and she hasn't put anything out that I have not cared for at all. I mean, it's just all amazing. It's wonderful. But before I go on, I'm going to talk mostly about her today, but I have 3 finishers that I do recommend. One, you know, most everybody knows Vonna. She does a beautiful job. I've talked with her extensively. A lot of I think a few of my customers that I used to finish for have gone to, you know, to use her as a finishing service. And she just, you know, I, again, never met her, but I've talked with her quite a bit online, and she seems to be just a beautiful person, professional, and does a beautiful job. I'm so glad that she's kind of pursuing this full time now. I just, you know, I love to see women succeed in small business. You know, we're just one big community. Nicole by Handmade Heirlooms by Nicole is another one I highly recommend. So I want to kind of put those 2 names out there, but I'm not going to talk about them today. I will probably make the rounds with my finishing and send finishing off to everybody. But who I'm going to talk to today is about LaDDa from Snowberry Needlearts. I began, like I said, I found LaDDa on Pinterest. I was scrolling. She has an Etsy shop, and she does occasionally sell things that are finished, things she stitched and finished. And I felt fortunate enough that a couple of my designs she liked well enough to stitch, finish, and sell. So that was kind of how I found out about her. And like I said, I liked her face on liked her page on Facebook. I liked her face too, but I liked her Facebook page, and I think she's on Instagram as well. But anyway, I have just adored everything she's done, and I don't know, something hit me, and I thought, I've got the stack of shame, everything I need to get finished, and I don't know, one day I was like, get real, Kathy, you're never gonna finish all this. So I'm gonna move on because I'm talking too much. So I got all my things back, and I'm so excited. These are not my designs. These are things that I have stitched over the years. So I will try to tell you who it is. I think I know most of the designers, well, some of the designers. So if I don't know somebody and you do know it, shout out in the comments or something, you know, would you? I really would appreciate it. A few things you may have seen on Facebook, because I send everything off. I send an inventory off to her. She sends me back maybe some of her ideas and price range, and I am not going to share with you what I paid to have these done, because I feel like that's something that you need to discuss with LaDDa should you choose to send her any finishing. All I will say is, wowzer, I feel like it was worth every single penny, and I'm impressed, I'm floored, I'm just blown away. So I'm excited. Anyway, let's get to the fun stuff. So this is a Prairie Schooler, and honestly, I don't know the name of the chart, and oh man, I wish I had a better, from just the little wall hanging. This is wool felt. She did like a twisted raffia around it. This is, you know, flat finished, a little padding, and it's brown wool felt. And look, you can see the shape and the outline, and she buttonholed it all, and she made this little, right down to the little teeny penny, I guess, or at the bottom with the raffia. Is that just not adorable? My husband kept asking me, he goes, are you gonna do that video, because aren't we gonna hang some of these? Because they've been in the box. They come in a box, everything comes in a plastic bag. Just, it's so impressive. So this is a Prairie Schooler design, and sorry, I don't know the name of it. It's one that maybe came out like about 5 or 6 years ago. So she has a whole series. I guess it's one of those cards, but I just love it. I'm so excited. Anyway, so that's one. I shared these with my stitch-in group last night, and I had to count. make sure I got all mine back because they were like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. So anyway, no, they were just joking. But anyway, okay, so this, and again, if you follow her on Facebook at all, you've seen this. This is a Little House Needleworks design, I believe. It's on the gingham linen, one shade. I think I used the Avera Soie. She did it in a couple, Diane did it in a couple different colorways, but just one color. And isn't that just so cool? She made a, I mean, there's twigs on it and the beautiful wool felt star. And look at the little feet, so it stands up. I'm not gonna be able to make it stand here on my hand, but is that just not adorable? I cannot wait to decorate for Christmas. This is going on my mantle. I just think that's too cool. I love everything about it. I just love I loved the simplicity and the message of the design, and just now the whole, she just made it all come together. Isn't that adorable? So, and then, okay, this one, it did get put out there. Again, you may have seen it. I've seen it on Pinterest. I have a thing for turkeys. My husband and I both went to Virginia Tech, and they are the Hokies, home of the Fighting Gobbler. So our mascot is a turkey. So anyway, is that just, it sits, it's got little legs. This is a Bent Creek. It was one of their zipper kits. It had more around it, but I chose not to do it. My mind, I always wanted to make this like a stuffed, like a sitter, and get like pipe cleaner type feet. And I did give her a suggestion. And with Rita, I said, I packed all of these and I said, you, my dear, have free reign. Do what you want. And she did email me back with some of her ideas. And this one, I did tell her my idea that I kind of wanted him to sit. Just, is that not, you know, we'll cross his legs. I just think he's so cute. And she did the, here, I'll show you the back. And she did all that, a little extra embellishment. And he's sitting on a little big button to kind of give him a good understanding. Adorable. I love it. So, Bent Creek. That was a zipper kit. And again, some of these names, I hate to tell you, but some of these I stitched probably more than 10 years ago. It's about time, some of these. And a few things I sent to her were actually already finished, and they just were tired looking, you know, every once in a while. And I joked with her, I said, we need extreme makeover finishing, needlework finishing edition. So when I sent this one, I don't remember who the designer is. It was actually, this was a model in my shop, and it was in a, it was tucked into a tuck banner. Tuck banners had their day, and that is not today. And I just love it because I stitched it, I put it up in the shop, and then when I closed my shop, I brought it home, and I always put it out in Valentine's Day, and that's about when my husband, our anniversary is. So I just always liked it. So I said, please, please, please give this thing a makeover, because I wasn't a fan of the tuck banner, let's put it that way. So she just beautiful fabric on the back, and she just put that little, you know, made the little, it's like a little dried flower there, and then the little wool. It's kind of stuck in there like a pin. Just, I wish I knew the designer on this. It came, I think, as a kit with the tuck banner. It was one of those, I think I went to market and somebody had them, and I thought, oh, that'll be quick to stitch and adorable and make up, and I probably could have sold way more of them had it been finished like that originally. Anyway, so there's that one. I got a couple more to go. Oh, I have 4 more to go. I better keep talking. So hopefully I have your interest and you're all watching. This is my longest video, so yikes. Okay, so this one I actually stitched a few years ago. It's a shepherd's bush. I guess, I'm assuming the chart is called Commodore. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that kind of thing. I stitched this on a Thanksgiving Day. It's so small. It's on that Tattersall plaid linen, and I think I started and finished it that day because we were watching football all day long, you know, and waiting for the turkey to cook. But just, she put it in the, look at the little touch right there. So subtle. This is the wool. I love the shape. The back, she put this little hanger on it so I could hang it on the tree, or I could lean it somewhere or hang it on a hook. I don't know what I'll do with it, but oh my gosh, I just love it. You know, it's got a lot of very subtle detail, but it lets all of this come off, which, you know, is just, anyway, very cool. Shepherd's bush. So a couple more. This one, was another extreme makeover. This was from a just cross stitch issue. I wish I knew which one it was, and I don't even know the designer. I'm sorry. In my shop, I used to do an Ornament of the Month club. The only requirement was that you had to have the Just Cross Stitch Ornament magazine, and then every month we supplied you with a kit with everything to stitch it. You just had to have, we didn't put the chart in, you had to have the magazine, and that was a very popular club. And so as a result, I have a lot of stitched ornaments because I stitched most of them. And so this was in, well, I mean, I'm trying to think. My shop has been closed for about 10 years, so I would say this is about 11 or 12 years ago in the ornament issue. And she just, it was flat finished and had dark green cording, and the cording was starting to pull away and all that kind of stuff. So I just told her, I said, I'm sure there's glue on it, but I always lace my linen. So just rip her apart and give it a makeover. And just, you know, it was so dark before, but she did the little palm trim, and the little bow even has a little sparkly in it, and the fun little wool felt ball at the bottom, which is kind of funny because I told her, I'm like, well, I already have plans for a finish like that. So that, you know, for something in the new year. So there's a little hint dropped. And she's like, oh, I can't wait to see it. So just, you know, and it almost looks like denim on the back, but it's not, it's a cotton fabric. I just love, you know, everything she chooses. So that was a makeover. I wish I had a before picture, but okay. So this one, and again, I wish I knew. So if you know what issue, or, you know, and this one I stitched when I had the shop. So this is at least, I want to say this was maybe a complimentary design somewhere. Does anybody know? Just, I had always envisioned this as some kind of like in a tart pan, or just a sweet little pincushion. So that's what she did, and she was my favorite. I love everything, that all the embellishments that she had. Little baker's twine, and it's got a little padding in there, so she must have slit that open and tucked a little padding inside. It's, you know, it's kind of thick. And I just, you know, the funny thing was, is she had sent me the picture, and it's got some Just Another Button Company pins in it from one of their pin sets, and she goes, I'm not sending you those, I figure you have a few. I'm like, yeah, good call. Anyway, they're very dear friends of mine, and yes, I have quite a few of their pin sets. So just, is that just not cute? Just a little, I just told her on this one, I had said, I think, I just wanted as just like a, you know, little pincushion or something, and just tuck it in somewhere, and just, how sweet is that? So anyway, again, if somebody knows that pattern, I want to say it might have been like a giveaway pattern at one point. I cannot remember. I do know it's stitched on an even weave, which is unusual for me, and it's stitched with, I believe, Silken Colors, which again is also kind of unusual. Okay, so I'm saving the big one for last. And I'm sorry, I'm going a little long this time. And this has been she's posted it on Facebook. You actually saw the stitched piece. You saw me stitching it. You saw me finishing, or that I, you know, it was a WIP, and it became a FFO, and it was, no, it's really an FFO, and it is just, okay, I have to stand back, get the whole thing in there. Do you remember me? I finished this, look at that. Oh my gosh, is that not cute? I'm gonna hold it up close. She's got such detail in there. A little spider web there, little boot, little jingles. Remember when I said I finished this a little bit ago? And although it looks really big, it's not massive, and it's really not overpowering, and it's very lightweight. And apparently I had enough linen. I was stitching on enough linen, so she just used that. I love the fact that she was able to use that in the back there. And it's just, I just love it. I just love it. Sorry if the light's kind of bad, but just very cute. So this is Snowberry Needlearts. Now I always hesitate to talk about finishers this time of year, because I know they're all just finishing their little fingers off. Most finishers have deadlines, and and those deadlines are probably passed, and they probably have gobs of orders. So I had told her, number one, she had free reign. Number two, there was no time limit. I didn't need any of these things back. She was very nice in that she told me when they arrived, and then she sent me kind of some of her initial thoughts and price ranges, and then when she was done with them, she sent me photos and kind of a detail of what was done to it. Not step by step, like this is how I did it, but this is what I did, so that I knew what she had done, and what, you know, and as a finisher, I know you know, these are beautiful. So those are, you know, those are three, you know, Rita, Snowberry Needlearts. I will put her information in the comments. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to kind of I'm going to work through my pile of shame that I need to get finished, and I got to figure out who I'm hitting up next. I think it's fun to support other women in this industry, and really neat to see their businesses develop and grow, and really see what they're capable of. My gosh, this is just, I mean, you know, I told her free reign, and I am so glad she took me at my word. Just really cool. So anyway, that's my Finish-a-Palooza, and wasn't that fun? So I'm going to end here because I've gone way over on what I normally do, but I feel like a lot of info. So if you have questions about something, let me know. Again, I am not going to share, please don't ask me what I paid to have these finished. I think that's something that you need to work out with any finisher, not just her, but anybody. But I just, like, as I said, what I got, I'm totally okay with. So I keep looking down. I just can't stop. I'm sorry. I just can't stop looking at him. Anyway, so now you can also kind of see who some of my favorite designers are to stitch in my off time. But anyway, so I'm going to end here. You all have a great weekend. Thanks for watching my Finish-a-Palooza. You know, I hope you enjoy Sunshine on a Stem, and stitching is my heart's desire. From my heart to yours, you all have a good weekend. Enjoy the stitch, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.